This is M. Carter Pierce, your independent 2028 Senate candidate from the great state of Pennsylvania, and you're watching the bonus reel, which very soon will turn into the daily reel starting next week. But for now, it's the bonus reel, and there'll still be weekly bonus reels as well. So, what I want to talk about today is something a little different. I don't want to talk about any particular subject in and of itself, like I normally do. But I want to talk about the future a little bit also. So let's start with where I stand. So I am a veteran of the United States Marine Corps. I served 40 years ago. I also have 30 years of law enforcement experience, having worked as a private investigator, undercover investigator, loss prevention investigator, bail enforcement officer, and culminating as a peace officer from New Jersey. I am an independent. I have no allegiance to any particular political party. And there's a purpose for that because I want to be free to choose who I want to choose. Whoever is going to do the best job for not just myself, but those around me, that's who I'm voting for. And as well as a political candidate, I know the deal, which is the only reason that you join political parties is to supplement your campaign funding. But the minute you go against the party line on a particular issue, they will take away that funding. I don't want to be in that position. I'm not here to serve any political party. I'm not here to serve any political leader or any executive. I'm here to do two things: to observe the law and to follow the law, and to represent my constituents in the best way possible. That's what I'm here to do. I want to take a moment to talk to you right now, though. We're going to put away partisan politics and put all that aside, okay? Just for the moment. Let's talk about where we are, okay? I don't have a silver spoon in my mouth. I'm not a trust fund kid. I wasn't born into money, and most of you haven't either. And when I say money, I'm talking millions and billions of dollars. You know, we're not Westinghouse family or the Rockefeller family or the Trump family. No, we are average Americans. That is a fact. We are average Americans. What makes us average Americans? Well, tell me if you've ever been in some of these situations. Have you ever had to juggle the bills? Have you ever had to live from paycheck to paycheck where maybe the only thing you put away in savings is $1 or $2? If that, have you ever had to do the math while you were shopping for groceries to make sure you had enough money to pay for them? Have you ever had to juggle your bills? I'll pay the gas bill this week, the electric bill next week. If it's a few days late, I'll call them up, see if I can get the late fee waived. Have you been in that situation? Are there things that you want? And I'm not talking about exorbitant things like furs, diamonds, luxury automobiles, or mansions. I'm talking about things that you might want, maybe like an electric toothbrush or a new winter coat or to put tires on your car. But you have to restrain yourself and say, no, I'm not going to do that. I can't do that right now because I've got to pay these bills. Here's another thing. In the current climate, where corporate landlords have gone insane and the rents that they're charging in areas is higher than the median income of the area, have you ever said, I'm not going to buy myself a new winter coat this year and I need one, but if I don't pay the rent, they'll take me to court in 5 days and evict me? Is this America? Now, I'm going to tell you something. I voted my first time out, I voted for Reagan. At one time in the early 90s, I was a registered Republican, and I did that under the behest of a guy that I worked for who promised me untold position, power, wealth, riches. There was plenty of room in the party for a guy like me, meaning a person of color. I learned later on, and that's part of why I'm an independent now. But it's not all Republicans. I have my problems with Democrats. I believe in responsible gun ownership. I think that when you go to purchase a gun, you should show a certificate that you've had a basic gun safety course so that you know how to operate a gun safely. You know how many times I've seen people shoot their own foot off or make the mistake they removed the magazine but forgot there was a round in the chamber? I've even seen people that forgot and did the ultimate no-no, pointed the gun at themselves. Now, I'm going to tell you honestly, unless Bambi is providing an armed response, I don't think you need a AR-15 or an AK-47 to hunt with. If you need that kind of weaponry to hunt with, then obviously you're not a good hunter. You're not. You should be able to get it done with a sniper rifle, to be factual. I believe that you should also carry insurance on your firearm so that if you do accidentally take somebody out, if you're sued, that insurance and you lose in court, that insurance will compensate. I also have my own opinion where Republicans do walk in lockstep. They're very good at it. They're good at unity, where Democrats have been very soft on that. They have confusing messaging. But I don't care about them. I care about the people. The people like me. And when I say like me, I'm talking about fellow Americans. It doesn't matter if you're brown skin, dark skin, yellow skin, red skin. Doesn't matter. A lot of you call yourselves Christians. Is it not true that God sits on high and looks low? And you know what he says when he looks at us? He says, my creations. To him, we are the same as a deer or a tree because he made us all. He says, my creations. He gave us a little bit more credence in the world. He gave us a little more presence. He did give us the power of choice. But God is irrespective of class. And our government, and I'm not saying, because remember the Constitution has in the First Amendment, the Establishment Clause, I'm not saying that we need to adopt a Christian or national religion. I'm not saying that by any means. What I am saying is that we need a government that reflects and serves the values of the average American. That's you and me. It's not right that these billionaires should be getting tax breaks when they've got more money than the average person. They've got enough to subsidize the next 10 generations of their families. And they wouldn't be living poor. They'd be living good. But the rest of us, this is why we have homelessness. This is why we have poverty. And before you go into something else, I'm going to say this to you. I believe in capitalism in this way. I believe that everyone has the right to go out and start a business. I have no problem with that idea. But what capitalism has done was it adopted the principles of a man named Milton Friedman in 1996. Milton Friedman won the Nobel Peace Prize for his theory of monetarism, which is what the current billionaires use. And it basically says that profit is number one at any cost. Break the law to make profit. The hell with other people, make profit. Doesn't matter if you're hurting them, make profit. That to me is greed and it's insanity incarnate. I just cannot agree to that. I can't and I won't. I have no problem with entrepreneurship. And I think we should encourage entrepreneurship. We need more young people who maybe they're not, college material. Maybe they're better at the trades. We need them to go out there and start their own businesses. We teach them independence in life. Let's teach them independence in their work life. Let's teach them how to be financially independent. You see, I'm just a regular guy, like you. I'm an older guy. I just turned 63. I've been around a long time and I've seen a lot of things. But I've never seen it this bad. What kind of a country do we live in where the chief executive who is supposed to be governing for us is a patent liar, a pedophile, a criminal who hasn't stopped yet? He's still committing crime. When the media is silenced, when you can't talk bad about him for fear of being sued frivolously. What the hell? Walter Cronkite, remember him? Dan Rather. Those guys were journalists. They were newsmen. And we trusted them. You can't trust anything now because it comes through the filter of Donald Trump. I'm not even talking, listen, I want to be clear about this. I'm not talking about the Republican Party. I'm not talking about the Democrat Party. I'm talking about MAGA. We just saw today the New York Young Republicans Club and all those vile texts that came from those privileged white young men. Where do you think they learned it from? Donald J. Trump. That's where they learned it from. I remember in 2017, after the Charlottesville uprising, with the neo-Nazis, and one of them went out and actually killed a woman with his car. And Trump had the audacity to say there were good people on both sides. I'm sorry. No neo-Nazi is good. Anyone who hates his brother, and this is in the Bible. This is in the Bible. If you hate your brother, your fellow man, you're wrong. God doesn't like it. God does not like it. We can all have an opinion, but we can't send anyone to heaven or hell. And from the God standpoint, nobody, no human being is superior to the others. And that's something you need to learn. We all need to learn it. If you criticize the homosexual, you can have an opinion about it. But if you try to kill him or beat him up or pass laws against him, you're wrong. That's just, this is what God said. God said that judgment is not ours. When you leave this coil, Who are you going to see? Well, let me tell you who you're going to see. You're going to see Jesus, God. And when the book of life is opened, your name better be in it. Because if you keep up with the hate shit, it will not be there. And if you believe the Bible, which a lot of you say you do, if you believe the Bible, damnation. Plain and simple. Look, let me just make this easy for all of us. I want a world, I want a country where all of its citizens, all of us, have an equal bite of the apple. I want a country that doesn't exclude but includes. Because if we didn't include, we wouldn't have the country that we have now. Let me ask you something. Where do you think Nissan came from? Toyota, Hyundai, Honda. Where do you think they came from? How many of you have Samsung phones? How many of you have Toshiba televisions in your house? Maybe you bought your air conditioner at Walmart, an American institution, but you better check that tag because it was probably made in China or Japan. It could have even been assembled here, and the parts came from outside the country. The bottom line is that because we have flubbed education so much in this country, because we charge such astronomical rates for kids to go to school to learn STEM, science, technology, math, that stuff, because we charge so much, they can't go. Some of them just don't want to be saddled with that student debt for 20 or 30 years after they graduate. Whereas in other countries, they're going to school for free. And they're becoming more technologically advanced in the marketplace. When I was a young man, when we had the boom boxes, I had a Sanyo. JVC. How many of you got JVC sound systems in your car? Do you know that half the stuff on Amazon is made in China or Japan or elsewhere? It's not all American. Half of Walmart's own home Mainstays brand comes from China, and it's repackaged. We need to have an inclusive country. Who picks your vegetables? Who does the construction trades, the labor trades right now? Who works in your restaurants, in your hotels, and performs all the hospitality duties? Do you know the businesses are going bankrupt right now because they have no workers? Because ICE ran them all out. Exclusionary tactic. We made our greatest strides. And even before most of us were born, in the 1800s, 1900s, when the Chinese were showing us how to do the railroads, Black people did all the hard labor in this country. It was visionaries from Ireland, Scotland, England, Italy, Poland, Germany, where Trump's people come from, even though his family is by far not visionary. The criminals. Right back to his grandfather, Alexander, the criminals. Nonetheless, we needed the Carnegies. We needed the Rockefellers to open up those foreign trade markets so we could get the consumer goods and supplies that we needed. We need an inclusive country where everybody gets a bite of the apple, where every opinion can be heard, where we have honest, respectful discourse, where we can afford rent, health insurance, pharmaceuticals, where we can reduce poverty and homelessness. Those are the things I want in this United States. And that's why I'm running for political office. My name is M. Carter Pierce. I'm an independent candidate running in 2028 for the United States Senator from the great state of Pennsylvania. And you've been watching the bonus reel. Starting next week, we'll not only have a bonus reel, but we'll be doing daily reels. See you then.